I didn't want some makeup. I wanted to stay clean.
B, this is not a snack.
I'm gonna put juice in it.
You're not gonna put nothing in it. You're gonna put it back.
Look, Uncle Bernie. I made this picture for you. It's for your dressing room.
Baby girl, thank you. I'm telling you, and it's going with me.
How does a 6-year-old TV prodigy end up in such a nasty feud with her on-screen brother that the crew had to build walls between their dressing rooms? The tension got so wild that producers were forced to step in before things got totally out of control. By the end of this story, you'll learn 2 shocking secrets about Dee Dee Davis. Secrets the team behind The Bernie Mac Show never wanted fans to know. You'll find out why she refuses to ever speak to Bernie's TV wife, Kellita Smith, again. And get ready, because the truth about how Jeremy Suarez made her cry so bad that Bernie Mac himself had to step in will leave you stunned. It all began with one cruel lie. A rumor that sparked a rivalry lasting for years between 2 child stars who should have been like family.
I remember going into the room, I remember giving my lines, and I remember seeing him in a crowd, like it was a whole bunch of other people in there, but he was the only man in there, African-American man in there.
Dee Davis, born May 17, 1996, in Olympia Fields, Illinois, came from parents with dreams too big for the quiet Chicago suburbs. When Dee Dee was just 2 years old, her family made a move that would steal her childhood forever, but also launch her into fame. The Davis family packed up everything and headed straight for Los Angeles. Not for a job, not for the sunshine, but for a dream that didn't even belong to them. It belonged to a toddler who couldn't spell Hollywood yet. By the time most kids were learning to tie their sneakers, little Dee Dee was memorizing lines and hitting marks on set. She was doing Huggies commercials, striking poses for print ads, and competing in modeling shows right next to her big sister, Erit. The Davis sisters were showing up everywhere, smiling from magazines, commercials, and TV spots, but nobody knew their names. Yet. Then came the audition that flipped everything upside down. It was 2001, and 5-year-old Dee Dee Davis walked into a casting room rocking pajamas and fuzzy bunny slippers. The space was packed with white executives in polished suits, and right there in the middle was one man who stood out like a spotlight, Bernie Mac himself. For the audition, they handed Dee Dee a scene, the now iconic toilet paper argument that would later open the show's pilot episode. She stood there, tiny and fearless, delivering her lines like a pro, while Bernie Mac watched in total silence. Then, something unexpected happened. When the audition wrapped, Bernie didn't just head back inside. He actually followed Dee Dee and her family out to the parking lot. That's when fate showed its hand. Turns out, Dee Dee's great-aunt went to the exact same church as Bernie's family back in Chicago, a hometown connection all the way in Hollywood. The very next day, the phone rang. Dee Dee had the part. But what no one knew then was that Bernie Mac didn't just cast Dee Dee Davis. He claimed her in spirit, not legally, but emotionally. And truthfully, she needed that father figure more than anyone ever guessed. Dee Dee's dad stayed back in Chicago, holding down the same job he'd worked for years, while her mom packed up and moved to Los Angeles with Dee Dee and her sister. The family was split right down the middle, all for a Hollywood dream that could either make or break them. Something as simple as Bernie teaching her how to snap her fingers meant the world to Dee Dee. To her, it wasn't just acting. It was a moment of real connection with the father figure she was missing back home.
It was just me and my mom on set. Well, me, my mom, and my sister, and my dad was in Chicago working. So I didn't have my dad's presence all the time. But like Bernie really stepped in.
She was still so young, she couldn't even tell the difference between what was happening on camera and what was real life. Off screen, she called him Uncle Bernie, and Bernie Mac, the legend, the powerhouse, the man who could own any stage, actually answered to it. But not everyone on that set felt like family. Then came Jeremy Suarez, who played Jordan, her funny but totally annoying big brother on screen. Off camera, though, their relationship was no sitcom. It was straight-up chaos. The tension between them got so intense that production had no choice but to step in before things spiraled out of control. can you imagine being just 6 years old and already locked in a full-blown workplace feud so bad the crew had to rearrange dressing rooms? That was Dee Dee's reality. But wait until you hear what actually started it. It's unbelievable. It all went down during the filming of a church episode at a Studio City set. Little Dee Dee was wandering around, searching everywhere for her mom and sister. Panicking, she turned to Jeremy and asked if he'd seen them. And that's when it happened, the moment that would change everything. Jeremy, being just a kid himself, decided to joke around, but his words cut deep. He told her that her mom had abandoned her, just for fun, a cruel joke no child should ever hear. That one line stuck with Dee Dee for life, burned into her memory even decades later. From that day on, it was war, not TV war, real war. Every argument, every fight scene between them on the show carried real heat. They'd snatch food off each other's plates, throw shade face to face, and call each other names non-stop. And Jeremy? He got a nickname on set that would haunt him for years. The casting crew thought the tension between Dee Dee and Jeremy was hilarious. They even turned it into a running joke on set. But here's where things start to get really wild. Instead of shutting their feud down, Bernie Mac actually used it. That famous scene where baby girl slaps Jordan and calls him a punk? Yeah, Bernie added that line himself. He turned their real-life drama into pure TV magic, method acting, but for two kids who didn't even realize they were living it. It was raw, it was real, and it made the show unforgettable.
He's taught me, and I always say, like, he taught me how to snap my fingers. We were doing a scene. Right before in and out takes of the scene, he literally taught me how to snap my fingers.
But while all that chaos was happening between Dee Dee and Jeremy, something much darker was brewing behind the scenes. Kellita Smith, who played Wanda, Bernie's strong and loving wife on screen, was supposed to be like a second mother figure to the kids. But off camera, things weren't so picture perfect. To this day, Dee Dee has never revealed exactly what went down. But whatever happened, it must have been serious. Because even decades later, there's still no forgiveness, no reconciliation, just silence and distance. One teacher, one student, every single day for years. While other kids were running around at recess, Dee Dee was stuck under bright studio lights doing endless takes. While kids her age were giggling with friends, she was memorizing scripts and rehearsing scenes. The paychecks were nice, but the real question was, where was that money actually going? Imagine this, a 6-year-old with a publicist, a manager, and a full team of adults depending on her. Most of her earnings were locked away in a trust fund she couldn't even touch until she turned 18. Meanwhile, the pressure just kept building. With every new season, the Bernie Mac show got bigger, and so did the expectations placed on her tiny shoulders. Dee Dee was growing up right in front of the cameras, but inside, something heavy was forming: exhaustion. By the time she hit 9, she was completely burned out, a child star running on fumes. Then came August 9th, 2008, the day everything changed forever. Bernie Mac passed away from complications due to pneumonia at just 50 years old. The man who taught her how to snap her fingers, the man who let her call him Uncle Bernie, the man who always had her back on set, gone, just like that. The show had already wrapped, but when Bernie Mac passed away, it felt like the true ending. No reunion, no reboot, no comeback ever again. The TV family Bernie built was shattered for good. When the camera stopped rolling, everyone went their separate ways. But for Dee Dee, the real struggle was just beginning. She tried to live a normal life, enrolling in a regular high school for the very first time as a sophomore. But it was a total disaster. Dee Dee didn't know how to be a regular kid. How could she? She'd spent her whole childhood working.
He made the set feel like a family, to the point where I actually thought we were a family.
Y'all were, though.
I thought he was my uncle. Like, I asked my mom, like, this is my uncle?
The other students didn't see Dee Dee Davis. They saw baby girl from the Bernie Mac show. She couldn't escape the role that made her famous no matter how hard she tried. As the years passed, Dee Dee made a move that shocked everyone who grew up watching her. In 2020, at just 24 years old, she launched an OnlyFans account, and the internet exploded. The backlash hit fast and hard. Fans couldn't wrap their heads around the idea that the sweet little girl from the sitcom had grown into a confident, independent woman making her own choices. Now, at 27, Dee Dee Davis is a proud mom of 2 boys, Logan and another son whose name she keeps private. She's back in Chicago, right where it all began. She's engaged, holding down regular jobs, and sharing glimpses of her life on social media. After a childhood filled with cameras, scripts, and chaos, Dee Dee's just trying to live something close to normal, even if the money from the Bernie Mac show is long gone. Most of Dee Dee's money is gone now. The trust fund that was supposed to secure her future? It's been eaten up by the real costs of adult life, bills, kids, and just trying to stay afloat. The fairy tale ending everyone expected never came. But what did come was growth. Her relationships from the show have changed over the years, and surprisingly, she's actually close with Jeremy now. After everything, they managed to work through their childhood drama and build something real, like true siblings. But here's the heartbreaking truth about Dee Dee Davis. She spent her entire childhood pretending to be part of a TV family, while her real one was split across 2 cities. Chicago held her father. Los Angeles held her dreams. On screen, she had an Uncle Bernie, who felt more like a dad than her real one. She had TV siblings she bickered with like they were blood. And while America laughed with Baby Girl, the real Dee Dee just wanted to disappear, to finally be invisible. The little girl who made millions of people smile just wanted a little peace and privacy. But when she talks about Bernie Mac now, there's warmth in her voice. I would say he was very true to himself, she remembers fondly. She recalls Bernie telling her parents, "Don't let Hollywood walk all over you. Protect your kids." That was the kind of man he was. Bernie Mac built a fake family for television, but he did everything he could to protect the real children inside it. He couldn't save Dee Dee's childhood. That was already gone before she knew it. But for 5 unforgettable years, he gave her something just as powerful: love, guidance, and the feeling of truly belonging. She had a protector, a teacher, an uncle who wasn't really her uncle, but loved her like family anyway.
This is where I wanted to be for so long. I wanted a regular life. I wanted to just be able to live. And I'm thankful every day that I'm just able to live.
Bernie Mac might have left this world believing he gave those kids a better shot at life. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But for Dee Dee Davis, those 5 years beside him were priceless. He watched out for her in a place where very few people truly care. And in Hollywood, sometimes that's all you ever get. Today, Dee Dee Davis is worth around $500,000, not the millions people imagine when they hear child star. The truth is, most young actors end up with far less than fans think. The agents get paid, the managers get their share, the publicists take their cut, and then come the lawyers and the business expenses. By the time it's all done, the kid, the one who made everyone else money, is left holding trauma and memories instead of wealth. And everywhere she goes, people still call her by a name that isn't hers: Baby Girl. Dee Dee turns 28 this year, the same age Bernie Mac was when he was still grinding in Chicago comedy clubs, dreaming of his big break. She's already lived a full Hollywood lifetime and retired from it before most people even start theirs. Now she's searching for what Bernie had before fame found him: peace, family, and a life that feels real. But every time someone calls her Baby Girl, she's suddenly 6 again, standing in her bunny slippers, reading lines in front of the man who became the father figure she never knew she needed. And somewhere out there, you can almost hear Bernie Mac's voice, still teaching her to snap her fingers. That's the real story of Baby Girl. Not the child star who made it big, but the little girl who gave up her childhood to become someone else's memory. If this story moved you, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Let's keep Dee Dee's story alive.